grab your tea, or whatever brings you into this morning. And let's get settled in and let's start the day off right. This is your time to reset, refocus, and remind yourself exactly who you are. Let's get into it. Today's affirmation is that I am walking into this week with clarity, confidence, and the kind of peace nobody can shake. All right, on to our morning tea. Starting with Cardi B. Cardi B closed out her Little Miss Drama tour in Atlanta yesterday, and sis did not disappoint. Missy Elliott popped out for a surprise performance and had that whole arena levitate. But backstage, Cardi B continued addressing the tour tensions that went viral earlier this month, from production delays to rumored disagreements with an opening act. Still, she told fans she refused to let anybody rewrite her narrative. And the finale proves she's still on the most electrifying performers. She's still one of the most electrifying performers in the game. And speaking of show-stopping moments, if anybody watches WWE and likes wrestling, WWE superstar Bianca Belair delivered the most emotional moment in WrestleMania 42 when she revealed she's pregnant, right in the middle of the ring. The crowd erupted and social media exploded, and fans called it one of the most beautiful WrestleMania reveals ever. Now, while Bianca is celebrating her new beginnings, Taraji is calling out old problems. Taraji is done being quiet about Hollywood's double standards. She revealed that in 30 years of acting, she still hasn't been offered a major franchise role, while male co-stars with similar resumes have. She spoke on emotional and financial toll of having to fight for what should already be standard. Her honesty has reignited the conversation about pay equity and representation for Black women in Hollywood. And while Taraji is telling the truth, Rihanna is clearing the air. Rihanna stepped into social media this weekend to shut it down about the latest round of pregnancy rumors after a fan's account started speculating in. She made it clear that she is not pregnant and reminded folks to stop policing women's bodies. Meanwhile, she's still building her Fenty empire, still in the studio, and still unbothered. And finally, let's end with queens receiving their flowers. And they are all long overdue. MC Lyte, hip-hop legend, has officially been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Early Influence category, joining icons like Queen Latifah and Fela Kuti. This honor celebrates nearly 40 years of lyrical excellence, culture, impact, and trailblazing for women in hip-hop. Her speech highlighted the importance of preserving hip-hop's roots and uplifting a generation of female MCs. All right, let's find out what happened overnight in the headline news. Escalating U.S.-Iran tensions. Iran is wavering on attending the second round of peace talks in Pakistan after the U.S. seized an Iranian ship and maintained a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. This has dimmed hopes for any diplomatic progress. Oil prices are rising sharply as Iran vows retaliation for the U.S. attack on its cargo ship. Also in the news, there was a major earthquake in Japan. A 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck off of Japan's north coast, triggering tsunami warnings for Iwate and Kohoto. I should know that. Waves up to 10 feet were possible, and residents were urged to evacuate to higher ground. And also, there was a shooting in Iowa. 5 people were wounded near the University of Iowa campus. Police are seeking several persons of interest, and 3 victims are confirmed students. Rest in peace. All right, on to our weather. In New York, variable clouds with a shower around the early afternoon today with your high of 54 and your low of 38. Los Angeles, early clouds, then mostly sunny and pleasant with a high of 73 and a low of 56. Chicago, Partly sunny with a high of 51 and a low of 46. Houston, mainly cloudy with a shower in the area today with a high of 71 and a low of 63. Phoenix, very warm with pleasant areas of sun with a high of 95 and a low of 69. Atlanta, pleasant with plenty of sunshine today with a high of 76 and a low of 53. DC, breezy and cool after possible morning showers. Your high will be 59 and your low will be 34. Charlotte, pleasant, sunny, and breezy later on today with a high of 73 and a low of 45. Milwaukee, partly sunny and cold. High of 47 and a low of 41. Jackson, partly sunny and pleasant with a high of 77 and a low of 49. Vancouver, mostly cloudy with a high of 67 and a low of 51. Jamaica, Kingston, humid with sun and thunderstorms later on this afternoon with a high of 88 and a low of 77. India, New Delhi, very hot with sunshine and patchy clouds today with a high of 104 and a low of 76. All right, sports fans. In the NBA yesterday, the first round final scores were the Celtics over the 76ers, 123-91. The Thunder over the Suns, 119-84. The Magic over the Pistons, 112-101. And the Spurs over the Trailblazers, 111-98. In Major League Baseball, we have the Braves over the Phillies, 4-2. The Tigers over the Red Sox, 6-2. The Mariners over the Rangers, 5-2. The Blue Jays over the Diamondbacks, 10-4. The Padres over the Angels, 2-1. And the White Sox over the Athletics, 7-4. All right, let's move on to today in history. On today, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of the unaliving of Mr. George Floyd. The verdict became one of the most defining justice moments of the decade and pushed another global conversation about policing, accountability, and whose pain is believed in America. All right, on to our inventor or scientist of the day. Today we spotlight Dr. Lloyd Augustus Hall. He was a pioneering chemist whose work helped transform food preservation. And the American Chemical Society notes that he developed methods that help keep foods from spoiling without wrecking the taste. During his career, he received 59 U.S. patents. All right, let's move on to our daily feature, which it is Motivational Monday. Today's message is about moving like you finally believe in who you are and what you bring to the table. That thing that you keep putting off, that call, that plan, that business idea, that boundary, that fresh start, it's not going to get less scary just because you let it sit a little longer. Most times, all delay does is make fear more comfortable. And fear loves a lazy chair. It will sit there all day if you let it. See, Monday is just the start of a new week. Isn't just the start of a new week. It's a reset button. It's a chance to stop dragging last week's doubts into this week's opportunities. You don't need to have every detail figured out before you begin. You just need enough faith to take the next step. Not the next 20, just the next one. And let's be real, not everybody is going to understand your growth while you're in it. Some people only clap once the results show up. Fine. Let them catch up later. Your job is not to make everybody else comfortable with your beginning. Your job is to keep going. So today, walk different, speak different, handle your business different. Not because life suddenly got easy, but because you decided you are not playing small anymore. You have survived too much, learned too much, and have come too far to doubt yourself now. So today, you don't need permission to level up. You need discipline, consistency, and the nerve to just begin. All right, y'all, let's go down the rabbit hole. Y'all know what today is. So I'm going to give you the secret origin of 420. Every April, millions of people around the world pause at the same moment, 4:20 p.m. Some light up, some protest, some celebrate. But how did these three numbers become such a global symbol? Was it a police code, a secret government signal, a hidden message in pop culture? Let's go down a rabbit hole. The story begins in 1971 at San Rafael High School in Cali. 5 teenagers who called themselves the Waldos received a hand-drawn map to a hidden cannabis crop abandoned by a Coast Guard member. They agreed to meet after practice at 420 by the Louis Pasteur statue to search for it. Their code phrase was simple: 420 Louis. They never found the crop, but the ritual stuck. So here's how the trail widened. The Waldos had direct ties to the Grateful Dead, one of the most influential culture bands of the era. They hung out backstage, at rehearsals, and on the road. Deadheads picked up the term, carried it across the country, and by the early 90s, High Times magazine amplified it into a cultural phenomenon. Meanwhile, police departments confirmed 420 has never been a police code for weed. Not in California, not anywhere. But the twist, the world embraced the myth more than the truth. People believed it was a police code, a secret law, a hidden message in Bob Dylan's song. Even numerology thought it was a clue. But the real story was it was born a global movement just from a meeting time, a statue, and a treasure map that led nowhere. 420 became more than a number. It became a ritual, a rebellion, a rally cry, and a cultural timestamp. Today, April 20th is part of celebration, part activism, part cultural ritual. From San Francisco to Africa, 420 has become a symbol of community, rebellion, and the push for legalization. After five teenagers, all they wanted to do was have a meeting time and a map to find a hidden treasure. They did find the map that led to everything else but the weed. But it came out all good. We celebrate 420 every year. People, like I said, people light up. Just make sure you light up after work. All right, y'all, on to fact or fiction. First up, ancient Egypt was isolated from the rest of Africa. Ancient Egypt was not off by itself, like it was good, just like it was too good to speak to its neighbors. Egypt has had deep connections with the rest of Africa, especially Nubia. Trade, culture, movement, influence, all of that was in the mix. So when people try to snatch Egypt out of Africa, that's not history, that's rewriting the narrative. Think about Nubia. Right, it's right to Egypt's south. These regions interacted for centuries through trade, politics, warfare, and culture. That alone kills the isolation claim right there. Second up, schools teach complete history. Schools do not teach complete history. They teach selected history. Sometimes that selection is thoughtful. Sometimes it's real convenient. What students learn depends on the state, the district, the textbook, and who's making the rules. So if you ever felt like whole pieces of the history had gotten skipped, that's because a lot of it did. One school may spend solid time on slavery, resurrection, civil rights, African civilizations, and local history. Another may hit highlights fast and just keep it moving. So the fact and fiction message today is when somebody tells you ancient Egypt had nothing to do with Africa, or that the schools teach the full truth top to bottom, go ahead and just hit them with a firm, no, that's not true. Try again. History is powerful, and that is exactly why people keep editing. Just because it was taught doesn't mean it was taught completely or correctly. All right, on to our back to roots today. Let's talk about what we cannot afford to lose. We cannot afford to lose elders' stories. We cannot lose family reunions where faces, names, and history get stick back together. We cannot lose our food traditions because recipes carry memory. We cannot lose the cultural meaning of our hair because style has always been story. If we don't preserve it, somebody else will rename it, repackage it, and sell it back to us like they invented it. Nope, not today. Our children need to know that history did not begin with slavery, struggle, and segregation. They need to know that African civilizations had builders, scholars, healers, inventors, freedom riders, and family lines. They need to know that culture is not a costume and ancestry is not a footnote. African societies pass down knowledge through stories, songs, and memory long before formal textbooks centered in the Europe. So two questions to ask your school-age children that are in your family, in your life today. Can you name one African kingdom, empire, civilization that existed before slavery? And also, do you know the name of one inventor, one scientist, or one freedom rider of African descent that your school did not spend much time teaching? I say ask these questions to your kids because I know personally I asked my grandkids who Emmett Till was, who Ruby Bridges was, and they couldn't tell me. Just by asking these two questions today, you'll be able to understand what our children are being taught in school and see where you need to start teaching them and about where they come from. Many of us don't have the means to pass down riches to our generation. However, we do have the knowledge, courage, and wisdom. If we aren't able to pass down material possessions, then let us be the elders who give them the knowledge of self, courage to correct those who minimize their heritage, and the wisdom to teach others. Our children need to know and believe that they are descendants of kings and queens, not just slaves. Ashe. All right, on to our horoscopes of the day. As we always start with Aries. Aries, today is pushing you to stop talking about it and actually doing it. Your energy is strong, but you need direction, not just speed. Your lucky numbers today are 3, 17, and 29. Taurus, you may feel pulled between comfort and growth today. Choose the thing that stretches you a little, not the thing that keeps you stuck. Your lucky numbers today are 6, 14, and 31. Grand Rising Gemini, Grand Rising I Spy. Gemini, your words carry extra weight today, so speak with purpose. A conversation could open a door if you stop playing it casual. Your lucky numbers today are 5, 18, and 27. Cancer, trust your instincts today. If something feels off, do not keep trying to talk yourself out of it, out of what your spirit already picked up on. Your lucky numbers today are 2, 11, and 14. Leo, you do not need attention from everybody, just alignment with the right people. Let your confidence be solid, not performative. Your lucky numbers today are 1, 16, and 30. Virgo, today is a good day to tighten up loose ends and get organized. Handle the details now so the rest of the week doesn't start acting raggedy. Your lucky numbers today are 8, 19, and 26. Libra, a decision you have been sitting on needs movement. Peace is not always found in waiting. Sometimes it shows up after you finally choose. Your lucky numbers today are 7, 15, and 28. Scorpio, keep your moves quiet today. Everything does not need an audience. Let results speak before opinions start running their mouths. Your lucky numbers today are 4, 13, and 32. Sagittarius, your mind is craving something new, but do not confuse distraction with opportunity. Stay focused on what actually moves your life forward. Your lucky numbers are 9, 20, and 25. Capricorn, this is a strong day for handling business and making practical moves. What you build today can help steady the whole week. Your lucky numbers today are 10, 21, and 33. Aquarius, an unexpected idea or insight could hit you out of nowhere today. Write it down. I'm going to repeat that. Write it down. Your next move may come from the thing that first sounded unusual. Your lucky numbers today are 12, 22, and 34. And Pisces, your emotions are talking, but make sure you're not driving. Feel what you feel. Let the wisdom take the wheel. Your lucky numbers today are 6, 18, and 35. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if your sign got a little too specific today, well, that's between you and the universe. All right, everybody. Our truth bomb of the day is everybody won't celebrate your growth, and that's fine. Some people only liked you when you were easier to manage, easier to overlook, and easier to keep playing small. But kings and queens, shrinking to fit other people's comfort is a bad deal. Let them adjust. Let them watch. But either way, keep it pushing. All right. Kings and queens, that's been your Motivational Monday dose right here on Morning Tea with Mell B. We covered the truth, the culture, the questions, and a little bit of wisdom to help you move through your day with your eyes open and your spirit intact. As you head into this week, protect your peace, trust what you know, and don't let this world talk you out of your power. And listen, before you log off, don't forget to support me and pick up my new novel, Black Butterfly. It's drama, pain, power, survival, and transformation all wrapped up in one fire story. Scan the QR code that's up in your corner and get your copy today. And also, last night, I had the opportunity to go to the show Tonight's Conversation, and I had a ball. Y'all look out for that podcast on tour. If it comes to your city, please make sure you go and see it. It was funny. It was live. We had fun. We danced. We laughed. We sang. So if it comes to your city, go check it out. You'll have a ball. All right, y'all. I'll be back in the AM with more tea, more truth, and more conversation. As for today, keep your head high, not because it's 420, y'all. I'm going to repeat that, not because it's 420. That's not what I meant. Keep your discernment sharp and your energy away from anything that does not feed your growth. Period.